Hello, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today, I am talking about narcissistic victimhood. Narcissistic victimhood. Now, this is a type of behavior that can be difficult to spot because the narcissist is so adept at disguising their true intentions. So, if you're the type of person who you just want to believe that people are just going to be people and let's just think about the positive, you will be manipulated by the narcissist. The narcissist dresses a certain way that will move people into believing that they're trustworthy. So if you're about appearances, well, hey, the narcissist will also use that. The narcissist will use sweet talk, charm, be very polite. Most narcissists are not angry, bitter, upset people. At least they don't come across that way. But we know deep down inside they're struggling with a whole lot of issues. They're quite polite, nice, charming, attractive, things like that. But you see, narcissists are master manipulators. And they often use deception to make themselves appear as the victim in any situation. So, woe is me. Can you please feel sorry for me? They're always after me. They always do bad things to me. Meanwhile, we know that the narcissist, what did you do? What did you do to instigate? What did you do to provoke? Well, all I said was, or all I did was, but you know how these women are, or you know how these men are, or you know how these kids are. You see, the whole point of the whole woe is me type of conversation is so that people will feel sorry for them. You see, they want you to take care of them. They want you to give them attention. You've got these young girls and young boys who are learning from master manipulative parents. So they know how to put on the act. Lots of tears, or they walk away and they ignore, and then they tell other people, he bothered me. He said bad things about me. I want you to beat him up. You see, or, I don't like her. She's always saying things about me. She's just so mean. And some people will ask, well, what did you do? And then, of course, here comes the lies. You see, you've got to be discerning. Pay close attention to how deceptive these people are. I have come across those individuals who very well educated, got their degrees and so forth, but my shady uncles could do a number on them. Okay? And before long, you who, I know so much about everything concerning the narcissist, you look silly because they knew how to play the game. I say past tense because many of them are in their graves. But they knew how to play the lawyer. They knew how to play the psychologist. They knew how to play the psychiatrist. They knew how to play police officers. Okay? They knew how to put on an excellent act. They missed their calling. They should have been actors. You see? I mean, they could do wrong and then convince you why it was the right thing to do. One example of a narcissist deceptive tactic is gaslighting. And basically what this involves is making someone believe they are crazy or wrong when they know they aren't. Okay? So you were wrong about taking me to court, or you were wrong about what you heard, or you were wrong about what you saw, or you know how these women are, or you know how these men are, right? This type of thing. The narcissist will deny any wrongdoing on their part, and instead what they like to do is place all the blame on someone else, and usually it's the person who has been gaslighted. They have another technique that they use, and this one is the type of technique where they're going to project, where they attribute their own negative traits onto someone else. See, and in this way, the narcissist can continue to appear as a victim in any situation. So here you are, you're sitting up here and you're saying, okay, I see what's happening. I don't like what's happening. And so you may want to enlist the help of other people. But if the narcissist got to those other people before you got to them, they're already forming judgment on you. They're already assuming that, yeah, that's why you guys are in court, is because you did this and you did that. And all I told you was to keep your mouth shut and just do what you're told. Excuse me, but this is not the 1930s, 40s, or prior to. I'm not going to just do what I'm told. Well, he told me that you said and you did, and okay. Don't tell the narcissist that you had to take medication, because now the narcissist is going to go around and tell everybody, see, she's on drugs or she's got something wrong with her or whatever else. Don't tell the narcissist that you had one of those moments where you were real frustrated with the children and you said something or did something. Now they're going to paint you as an abuser. Don't have, once again, that weak moment where you tell the narcissist all your personal business from back in the day. Yeah, she shared this with me and that. I tried to get her to tell me how many people she slept with, and she told me. And so, she's just nothing but a whore. Oh, wow. You see, this is why a long time ago, our relatives told us, you don't tell people everything that's going on with you. You see, you get some surface information, you get an example here and there, but you're not getting all the specific details. And even the details that you do give people, they still find a way to try to use it against you because they don't like the truth. They don't like that cutting truth that comes at you. So some of you all who have your YouTube platforms, yes, you will attract narcissists. Yes, they will take what you say, use it against you, turn it around upside down and sideways, and we just keep it moving anyway. I told you, I've been on this channel for over 14 years. Okay? And the narcissist will come through talking about, you don't know what you're talking about, and I never came across anybody like that. And usually when they're saying all of that, they are the narcissist. And they have been convicted by the message, and they don't want to deal with the fact that you're put on blast. Bottom line, no, it wasn't the exes, it's you. You're the issue. Okay? Some of you all, I know on that first date, you were just looking at that man sideways, like, so you want me to believe. But okay. And then you start to learn more about that person. It's 3 months, it's 6 months, it's 9 months, and it's a year. And you realize a lot of things. But you may have bought property with that person around that time. Or you may have gotten pregnant by that person. Or you may have went on and married that person. Or you may have had relatives who were deceived by that person who encouraged you to be with that person. And I don't care if this happened 20, 30, 40 plus years ago. The point is that this person that you're dealing with, that you went into some kind of metamorphosis of whoever they wanted you to be so that you would stop arguing with them. They're still who they are. They still are that same one who told you lies years ago and who is still telling lies. They're still that same person who, it wasn't me, it was her. I want to let everybody know that exes of anybody who I dated or anybody who I had a serious relationship with, you were told, or you were talked about so badly by these narcissistic people. They at first talked in such a way where you guys are so nice and so sweet and so kind and so whatever, right? But then as time went on, they started saying, she was demanding, she was controlling, she was a gold digger, or this one, she was a cheater, or this one was a liar, or this one was too old or too fat or too whatever. They say a whole lot of stuff. And those of you all, and I could put my hand up, we are exes, right? And the narcissist who we got away from had a whole lot to say about us that was quite negative to their mothers, to their exes who are so-called friends now, their sisters, their brothers, They're best friends. So we put them on blast and we say, the truth about your brother, the truth about your sister, the truth about your cousin, the truth about your uncle is that they are a textbook narcissist. They are deceptive. They use gaslighting, just like they used it with us who were once victims. They use the same thing with you family members. Okay? They will deny wrongdoing. Somebody needs to take note, because your past conversations, unfortunately, were full of lies, were full of half stories, and sometimes they knew that they couldn't pull one on you, so they just stayed quiet and just let you run your mouth. Okay? So you really didn't get too much information. But let me tell you, because we putting people on blast today. First of all, they wanted you to believe that their exes were crazy, okay? They wanted you to believe that they were all wrong and that they were right. Once again, they denied any type of wrongdoing, okay? They also placed blame on other folks. Okay? They were never at fault. But we know better. And just because we didn't tell you all the details about that one, trust you me, there was reason why we left. There were plenty of reasons why we broke up. There were plenty of reasons why some of us even stayed. But it's temporary, or it's limited, or it has prerequisites or agreements involved. Lord Jesus. Okay? Some of our elders stayed with these men as well as women in the double digits. They took their abuses. They stayed quiet. They made excuses. Even when they were shamed and blamed, they still held fast in these relationships because there were children involved, because there was money involved, because there were homes involved, because they knew that in their mind that there were certain jobs that they knew they could not tolerate, could not handle because of all the abuses and all the issues that they went through. And some of them were undiagnosed in terms of the disorders that they had. And so those who were in powerful positions, who were controlling in the relationships, they knew this and they took advantage of these people. Okay? We see it with some of the celebrities. They know that they only have a 6th grade education, 8th grade education. Okay? Their handlers know this about the celebrities. And so, what you gonna do when you go out there? Oh, you who are the popular one who sold all these albums, or you were in all of these movies, what are you going to do, huh? They're going to be asking why you working at the local grocery store, or why you working as a secretary, or what's going on that you're over here with us. And you know that you don't want to deal with all of that, right? Because then, the media is going to come in and they're going to start saying all these things about you. So here, the narcissist who recruited the narcissist, blew that person up, is now telling them about why they are not going to be a success apart from them, why they need them. Oh, that's the narcissist mantra that he or she sings in her head or his head. Oh, she needs me, so that's why she's staying. Not necessarily. I mean, there are other people out there in this world. You see, for some of you all, you said, I chose you. But just as I chose you, I can also no longer choose you and move on with my life. And that's what some of you all did. Praise be to the one true God, because I have been praying over the years for many of you all who have reached out to me and said, look, this is who I'm involved with, and I don't like it, and I don't want to be here. And some of you all then followed up and said, and I'm away from that person, and thank you so much for your inspirational messages. You see. Because I don't want people caught up in this foolishness. I mean, we've got women in our own family who are in their graves behind dealing with the malignant narcissists, along with their narcissistic victimhood that they start to exhibit more of as they get older. And some of you all fall for it. Remember, that is the same person who cussed and fussed and called names, was the same one who put their hands, because back in the day, don't get it twisted, they did put their hands up to faces and slap people's faces. Come on. The abusive ones. They did push. They did shove. They did jump up in faces. They did these things. And you all look at that little man or that little woman and she's got wrinkles or he got wrinkles all over their face and all. You look at them, oh, she's so sweet and nice and all that. No, because they need you right now. But I want people to remember the evil. Just because they're older, don't think that the evil went away. I want people to remember the abuses. I want people to interview other people in a family member who other people in the family who witnessed what these malignant narcissists did, what these controlling, using and abusing pimps, players and hustlers did. Because you know the victim, oh, she's got to keep her mouth shut. But the witnesses, oh no, let me tell you what happened. Come on now. Somebody, let me tell you what happened. Because see, this is how we get some people free out of these situations. Sure. Is it going to cause problems? Oh, yeah. Are they going to talk about your motor mouth? Oh, yeah. Are they going to say that you don't know what you're talking about and you always had problems with me? Yeah, but I'm her sister. And I know that you ain't nothing but a pimp and a player and a hustler. And I know that you put her up to telling all sorts of lies and she was being deceptive and covering up and doing all sorts of stuff for your no good, sorry, you know what. Can we keep it real and honest? And yes, there happen to be children that were born in the family, but understand this, young people, you weren't there. You did not hear through the grapevine. All you know is what you know. And some individuals, they experienced a whole lot because they saw their mothers and fathers going through. Come on. And no, we can't say anything. Yeah, because he scared you. We know all too well about the fear. He scared you into submission. He told you, I will beat your no good, da 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 da. If you go out here and you tell people, and I will be, if you sit up here and you put my business out in the street. And so some individuals, even to this day, they're running for their lives. Because they breathed the word to some family member that they shouldn't have. But can I tell you that you shouldn't be fearing that man or fearing that woman. You should be fearing God. You see, because you can go to the Lord and have those kind of prayers that when you see what happens to your enemy, that's enough to make you fearful of the one true God. I don't know who I'm talking to. Because, see, you got to be bold enough to tell them secrets to the one true God. We know for some of you all, you're never going to say anything out there in the public. And, hey, we understand that. You don't have that kind of platform. You're not on that kind of mission. God didn't give you that kind of anointing. I get that. But you can be open and honest with the one true God. And for some of you all, you don't want to do it because you do fear what God's going to do to your enemy. You see, that man keeps on getting away with that foolishness, but because I love him, no, I have given names over to the one true God. And I will tell you that God dealt with people in ways that I could have never even imagined in my head if I was a vengeful person. Because he knows where your weaknesses are. You see, he created you. So he knows where you fall short. He knows where your strengths are. He also knows your secrets. He knows your lies. He knows your cover-ups. He knows your fear. And that's why we give that over to the one true God. You see, and we break programming. We break programming. We break programming in Jesus' mighty name. You see, deceptive programming, emotional abuse programming, parental programming, Lord Jesus. Even a workplace programming. Somebody's fearful of people on their job. just like they were fearful of their fathers and their mothers back in the day. Whether they were biological, step, adopted, foster, it don't matter. The point is that fear is what has kept these people in these abusive situations for far too long. And we want some people out of this, and not malignant narcissists who's projecting all of their negative traits onto you or onto someone else. They need to be put on blast, and you can do it subtly, or you can do it quite boldly, or you can put other people up to doing it. But we've got to have more discerning lawyers, doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, social workers, okay? Caseworkers. We need more discerning individuals, mediators when it comes to divorces, okay? He shows up or she shows up dressed to the nine, able to talk all of these types of words where I can relate. Yes. Oh, I remember when I achieved my degree at such and such. Oh, you too. You see, grooming them, getting them ready for, yes, so my wife, let me tell you about her. God. You see? And then you sit up there and you're so wrapped up in their charming ways and the fact that you both got your degrees at such and such university. And oh, you all, let me throw this in here, are a part of the same sorority or the same fraternity or the same, we'll never speak on what group we're a part of. And so I scratch your back, you scratch mine. We need to put some people on blast. Bottom line. Break the strongholds in Jesus' mighty name. Uproot the foolishness. The shady things that people come up with so that they can get the upper hand. She will never get these children. Oh, he will never see the light of day. Are you sure you want to go down that rabbit hole? Because I will tell you that a lot of folks who went down those rabbit holes ended up having all sorts of addictions because they couldn't live with what they did. Yes. You see, this is why I say we get God involved. You see. And all of this projecting, what it does is, once again, it builds the case up for the narcissist to continue to appear as a victim in any situation. In any situation. Oh, well, I didn't get the job, or, oh, I don't understand why I didn't get the children. Oh, I don't understand why my ex-wife doesn't love me or like me anymore, doesn't want to be with me. And I told her that I still care for her and I want her in my life, but I just don't understand. Oh. I don't understand why my husband, he treats me this way. Oh, you see, somebody needs to get the backstory. And you're not going to get it from talking to just one person. He's just got people bamboozled, twisted, confused. But that's my brother. That's my sister. That's my cousin. That's your no good, malignant narcissist playing victim. You see, the Bible speaks about deception and warns us of its power. We're not to be deceived. And I have said this in past audio. God cannot be mocked. It is God who is truth. It is God who is love. It is God who is light. When that truth, when that light, when that love shows forth, we don't mock it. We don't dismiss it. We don't deny it. We don't act like it's not there. And how many women who have been married for 20, 30, 40 plus years sat up there and they pretended as if there was not a controller in the room, but we knew better. They pretended as if there wasn't an abuser in the room, but we knew better. They pretended as if the abuser, had never abused any of the other people in the family, when we know better. See, a man reaps what he sows. And even though it doesn't appear like that man who's been on this planet or that woman who's been on this planet for 30, 40, 50, 60 plus years is not reaping and seems like he gets away with a whole lot. I remember one relative who said, they can't seem to keep this fool in jail. He beats on me, he beats on the kids, and he manages to always get out of jail. I don't understand this. He was a master manipulator. And to this day still is. And so you sit up here and you think that you can get the upper hand on somebody who has been playing games. Matter of fact, spends their lives playing games. You're kidding yourself. You got to have God involved because God knows the weaknesses once again. People, that's the reason why they don't get the upper hand on these shady folks. Because they don't talk to God or sit down long enough and tell God everything and then shut your mouth. You prayed, yes, you begged, you pleaded, you did all of that. Now shut your mouth and let God work. Instead of saying, God's not listening, God doesn't care, God is dead and all this other stuff. You wonder why God is not freeing you? Lord Jesus. I know I'm not talking to everybody. So some folks, when it doesn't apply to you, you know what you do. You sit back, you sip your tea and say, she ain't talking about me, but she talking about that other person. I'm talking about many people. You see, we cannot be deceived by a malignant narcissist false portrayal of themselves as victims. Instead, what do? We hold them accountable for their actions. So is there going to be confrontation? Absolutely. If you're dealing with a violent one, is he going to put his hands on you or she's going to put her hands on you or bust up everything in the house? Possibly. So if you want to stay safe, then you make sure you got witnesses. You make sure that you call Popo. I'm about to have this conversation, but Popo on their way. Let me just go ahead on and say what I need to say. And I know I got my peeps around me too. So if he acts like a fool, they're going to jump on him. And that's what happened. A particular relative ended up standing up for herself. And I guess he thought that he was still dealing with little children in the room. And so they rose up and they whooped that behind. Okay? So if some of you all are tired of the foolishness, you know what you have to do. You've got to hold some people accountable. You've got to get the law involved. You see, we're not preaching those type of messages that, we're going to be a hypocrite and not talk about peace and all of that other stuff, because there is going to be peace. It's just going to be peace where we get the law involved. Oh, but he said he was going to do this. And if I do get the law involved and all that, you do know that you can disappear. You do know that there's all sorts of ways that people disappear. Some of those folks that's missing aren't really missing. They just change their identities because they're not going to be putting up with the foolishness, you see. And that's what it takes. Oh, but I don't want to do this and that. Well, that's on you. But if you really want to deal with those issues that malignant narcissist has put upon you, then you're going to do what you need to do as the Lord leads. We will hold them accountable for their actions. And we will recognize when they're trying to manipulate or deceive other people. Because the writing is on the wall. Like I said, we got the appearance, we got the charm, we got the he say, she say, we got the victim. Oh, woe is me. We got the gaslighting that goes on. You see, we got the emotional abuse, the physical abuse. We got the silent treatment. All of that kind of stuff that people have talked to you, lawyers and doctors and psychologists and psychiatrists, and all these other folks who got titles, these victims came to you. The domestic violence counselor, they came to you. They told you what was going on. And then as soon as you saw the malignant narcissist, you said, no, he can't be that way. Oh, no, she's just jealous because he got X amount of money and because he's got a title and whatever else. We're talking about years of psychological programming, years of that person, that victim, true victim, changing his or her personality to avoid being used and abused, to avoid emotional abuse and physical abuse. So they thought in their mind, but us on the outside looking in, we know they were still being used and abused, right? But they didn't want the arguing. And they didn't want the physical fighting. And so whatever I have to do to keep the peace. Many of the women said that. But it doesn't make it right. Because when Jesus showed up, he created division. He even said it in his word. You see? There will be division. Anytime that there's a cutting away and a cutting off and we're trying to move toward peace, there is going to be war. You got to remember that these people, these malignant narcissists, they use deception and manipulative tactics to make themselves appear as a victim. And they really put it on because I'm older now. You see? But you're not going to be taken advantage of. Because what you're going to do is, I see he's playing the card of, I'm so old, I'm forgetful, I'm so sorry. Meanwhile, he can't stand the fact that he's getting older. But he'll play that. He'll pull that card out. The police officer will pull him over. He'll play like, oh, I forgot my license. Meanwhile, his license was taken away from him a long time ago. You see? He plays that little game of, I don't know, I forgot. Meanwhile, he remembers what he said. He remembers what he did. You see? Or he remembers, and he'll say he remembers, but then he'll justify why he did what he did. You know what you did was abusive, right? Oh, there you go, talking about abuse. Oh, yeah, well, it was abusive. Well, I had to do what I had to do. No, you didn't have to do all of that. No, you did not. But you won't come up with any old excuse because that's what makes you feel good. That's what gives you some rest at night. But my God told me that what you did was wrong. And so you will pay the price for that. You see, you will reap. You see, we're not playing games. I know some folks think because they see some foolish Christians out here, because there are some foolish ones wayward in the faith. They say all sorts of crazy. So they think, oh, they're all powerless. They don't know anything. They don't know what they're talking about. And every time they bring this religion, no, who said religion? I'm talking about spiritual. I'm talking about unseen forces. I'm talking about a God who created your heartbeat. A God who created the thunder that rolls under your feet. The God who created the lightning that flashes in the sky that many of you all are nervous about when you're driving down them roads, because I've seen people freak out. That's the God that I'm talking about. And he's not playing games with people. People like to play games with the one true God, thinking that he's not real, thinking that he doesn't care about true victims, not pretenders. But he does. The oppressed is going to be set free, whether in this life or in the next one. The captor is no longer going to keep those people captive, because at some point what is in darkness is going to come out in the light. That's why there's the manipulation that goes on, because he doesn't or she doesn't want them to become independent in their mind, body, and spirit apart from the malignant narcissist, the abuser, the user. And so some of you all, you have witnessed this sort of thing. Some of you all are still victims. Because you can't pick up that phone without telling him. Or you can't go somewhere without letting that man or that woman know. And you better give him a time. And you can't say what you want to say for fear of how he's going to react. And you got those children in line too. And they stand up tall and straight. And they look like they got all sorts of fear, as old as they are, because of what they seen you go through, or what your mama or your grandmama went through. Some of you all behave like that. You've been impacted by a malignant narcissist. You've been impacted by somebody who tells all sorts of lies. Some of you don't fear. No, it's not that kind of party. But you are tricked and bamboozled into believing anything that man says or that woman says for the right price. Oh, I need the service. So yeah, whatever he says. So you're going to throw that victim under the bus because of whatever that man said, because he got deep pockets and you know she doesn't. And the women who do this to women, I've prayed those kind of prayers where you need to be dealt with. I'm sorry. You sitting up there and you know that woman is being beaten, or you know that woman is being psychologically manipulated because you know yourself that you have gone through the same thing, and yet you speaking evil of her and you don't even know her like that. You don't go home with them. No, there's no right in that. I don't support women who do that sort of thing. You see. And some who have witnessed abuses, and yet you side with the enemy. Wow. And then you wonder why you going through what you're going through with that man who you live with. Because you see, once again, a man reaps what he sows. A woman, she's reaping what she's sown. She wasn't there for her sisters. She wasn't there for her mother. She wasn't there for her father. She wasn't there for her grandmother, her grandfather, all of those different people, you see. Instead, she sided with the enemy. Said that, you all don't know what you talking about. And then for some of us, the enemy was the family members. As quiet as it's kept. It wasn't about, oh, she's so disrespectful. She's so ignorant. She's so stupid or dumb. No. What we did was we prayed and we asked the Lord, who are our Judases? Come on now. You guys aren't ready for this. We asked, who was our Judases? Who was going behind our backs and saying all sorts of evil about us, twisting our words, assuming things about us that were not true. Once again, you don't go home with that person. You don't know what's really going on inside their household. And we asked that the Lord deal with people accordingly, because we weren't going to be accused of dishonoring and disrespecting and all of that when we had a long track record of honoring and respecting and going back and apologizing and doing all these things and spending money and buying things and trying to make wrongs right, and yet evil was still lurking. Lord, take this from me, please. How much you gotta do? How much you gotta say? And yet, that malignant narcissist and the minions, gaslighting about the past, not taking accountability for it, not even willing to drop a dime in a bucket. You see? And so, I want some individuals to give names over to the one true God. Because you've suffered long enough. I told you I'm on the side of victims. I'm not on the side of these so-called, I know everything, I got my degree, or I know this, or I know that because of who I was associated with. If you feel like you're a victim after you've listened to this audio message, and I'm talking about a true victim, I want you to put your hands up. And I want you to speak to the Lord about your situation right now. Don't let another day go by. And this time I want you to tell all the business. And you're like, well, God already knows. Doesn't matter. Because by you opening up your mouth and you hearing your voice saying everything that was wrong plus some, that truth is going to be convicting to you because it's coming out of your mouth, all of it. And you're going to look at yourself in your mindset and go, why am I putting up with this? And that is the first step toward your healing. And for some of you all who have buried secrets for so long, it's going to be hard to say it out loud. You'll be like, well, maybe I'll just say it through my mind. Yeah, but it sounds better when you say it out loud. Just make sure nobody's around to hear all of what you're about to tell the Lord. And by doing that, you're handing it over to the one true God. Lord, this is what was said. This is what was done to me. Lord, you showed me the error of my ways by dealing with these people, by opening up my mouth, by spending that money that I did not have to try to win them over. Lord Jesus, I don't want this in my life anymore. I want to be free of this. And as you do that, let me tell you, God starts opening up these doors where you can walk right out of those relationships. Hallelujah. And you don't lose sleep at night. And no matter who comes along and says, oh, you're being disrespectful, you're dishonoring and all that, you say, oh no, I know I got Jesus and I know what Jesus said, and you weren't there and you don't know. All you can do is go along with whatever the liars, the manipulators, the controlling people do. Away from me, and you cut them off too. Because all they're going to do is they're going to go back and tell all your business to that one that you have cut off. And so, once again, we are not going to play these games with the malignant narcissist who wants to portray themselves as victims, because we know better. We know that you know what all of the signs are of narcissism. And so what you do is you bury some of those signs because you don't want the world to know that you are a narcissist. Very good at it. There's one particular narcissist. He's been around for a long time. I first discovered him back in 2009. And it was back then in 2009 that I was learning a thing or two about narcissism, because the Lord spoke to me about it. I didn't know what to call the person who I was dealing with at that time. That is one of the most popular videos on this channel. Spiritual perspective on narcissism, or on the narcissist. And I'm telling you that man over the years, I saw how he started going into hiding. And now he, acts in now he's more transparent. But in the early days, he wasn't talking about himself. He was talking about spotting individuals. But he was never telling you that he was, in fact, a narcissist. Then over time, when videos started arising that he was one, then it became more of I'm just warning you about the narcissist, but still not really saying truly what he was for a long while there. Then he got other people involved and so forth. And then they said what it was like living with him and dealing with him. But I saw his journey over the years. And I said that I would still not trust him. I don't care how much helping he's doing. I still would not trust him if I was in a room by myself with him. Unless he's medicated, and that medication has a way of bringing out all the happy feelings and making them less likely to manipulate. But no, there are some people in this world that you shouldn't even step foot in a room with them. That's somebody's word, because you take too many chances. And sooner or later, all of the abuses that you see that person doing with other people, they're going to eventually do it to you. Even though you talk bad and say, nah, they ain't going to do that to me. Sooner or later they do. I've seen it. Even the toughest, sassiest, strong-willed type of people got broken down by a narcissist. Don't ever underestimate them. They've been at this for a long time. And if they can swindle, deceive a psychologist, a doctor, a lawyer, a police officer, you know what they'll do to people in a family. I thank you as always for taking time out to listen. You've been listening to YouTube, NM Enterprise 7. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment. We do welcome giving to this channel. There are links in the description box if you feel so moved to give a monetary blessing. Also, feel free to like, subscribe, comment, share. Thank you.